Welcome back everybody to another episode of Cigarillos Talk, where today I'm going to be talking about myself, no other than me. There's nobody else in this forest. Today it was raining a little bit, so there's a river here, plus it just looks beautiful, nature is beautiful, but I'm going off topic. Usually what I want to upload are educational contents that educate people, that make people learn about a few things about life. Or just in general some philosophies, some topics that I find interesting that I want to share with the world. But this episode of Cigarillos Talk, I'm going to be mainly talking about my own self. Exactly what I stand for. So I have prepared a few goals that I want to present to you, what I'm trying to strive for today. This video will also help me because recording videos is some kind of time capsule. Seeing videos that you have recorded 1, 2 or 3 years ago is very entertaining because you can see where you really were at that moment. Did really anything change? Did you get better? Did you get worse? And considering that I have been recording videos for a very long time, even though I have privatized them on this channel, I still love looking back at my own old videos. Maybe I will put them public again sometime in the future, but today it just is what it is. First of all, the reason why I strive for people to have their own personal goals and why I think that having goals is important is because many times you may feel lost in life. It is a very pleasurable feeling to have goals and to just look at them and see the progression that you're doing. It feels very satisfied when you're closing to the end of the goal that you want to set in. And just the journey of pursuing your own goals is very enjoyable for my own self and for many people. So if you feel lost in life, set in some goals that you want to achieve. Do not just drift through life like it is, because many times if you do not see the vision, if you do not see the place that you want to be, many people will put you in the places that they want you to be. I kind of butchered the quote. There's like a quote about that, how if you do not know what you want out of life, many people will find out what they want out of your life. So set in goals for your own self. So, without further annoying you by wasting your time, let me start reading out my goals. I want to try and compete in K1 amateur kickboxing. I have been training kickboxing for a year right now. I'm not very good at it. I'm not also bad at it, but I need to see myself in a real image. I'm still a newbie. I need to stay humble. I don't know jack shit. Even though I'm much more confident in my own fighting capabilities right now, seeing the kids, younger kids who are actually competing, it's actually fucking scary. And because it is scary, I know that I need to start pursuing that. And I need to focus on that very, very hard. I don't know how long it will actually take me to enter that sort of field of just competing. I just want to do it. This is what my heart strives for, and I want to actually achieve something out of that. I want to start seeing myself as an actual winner in this life. For the vast majority of my life, I have been seeing myself as a loser, as a person who is not standing up to my own principles, and as a person who just bends my own will to others, because I did not really have a backbone. So, going and actually competing in amateur kickboxing, I see that as one way of actually showing my backbone, not to other people, but to myself. Because I find fighting to be incredibly fucking scary. Like seeing other people who are way skilled than you, for example, if you were to just right now go in a kickboxing gym or just a martial arts gym, it is very scary sparring against a person who knows way more than you, or who is just heavier or bigger than you, or taller, or just much more capable in skill. And because this thing is very scary, I need to conquer my own fears, and I need to show to myself some bravery. Because many people see bravery as something like you just do it out of like this glory. Usually bravery is something that you fear of, but you're still doing it because you feel it is right. I feel fear thinking about this topic, going in a ring, seeing like your coach looking at you, seeing other people looking at you. Maybe they're cheering for the opponent much harder than you. After seeing that environment, to me it's very scary. But because I know that it's scary, I need to do it. Plus I also like fighting, so it would be for me a shame, because I have been training for 1 year, and to not actually try and compete in something. So one of my goals, I do not know if I will be achieving this year or next year or 2 years ahead, because I still have a lot of training to do. I know that that's something that I need to do. My second goal is cutting weight, not only for the kickboxing experience, because I have seen when I cut weight I'm much faster and I'm much stronger at punching and kicking, but not only for that, but also for aesthetic purposes. I have been bodybuilding for quite a while. Usually I started my training by just weightlifting and bodybuilding, and I have been bodybuilding for, let's say, 4 years, not competitively, just like as a hobby, and I have been bulking for the majority of time. The reason because I was malnourished and I was weak and I was looking like a chopstick before. And over time, as I have been bulking and so on, I have gained very good results, even through my fat, because I personally do not know how to judge body fat percentages. I would say that I'm like 20 or 18% body fat. I have seen my abs slowly starting to pop up through that body fat percentage. And I believe if I reduce my body fat by cutting weight, that those abs will start to show off. And in pictures, my physique will look amazing. Now, considering that I have two goals in mind that are very contradicting to each other, because bodybuilding does not whatsoever complement martial arts. Because most bodybuilders, even though they look menacingly and they look intimidating and they just look huge and respectable, they aren't very good at fighting. Usually the goal of having big arms and big hands in the aesthetic field of bodybuilding isn't very helpful to kickboxing. So I'm kind of juggling two goals that are contradicting each other, which is very bad, because if you're trying to catch two rabbits at the same time, most of the time you will not catch either of it. Even though I know that information, I know where my heart strives for. I want to have an incredible physique that is admirable, and I also want to compete in martial arts and actually achieve something out of that. So, even though this cutting weight is mainly for the aesthetic purposes, it is also complementing the kickboxing goal of my life. So, yeah, my third goal is to actually try and really try to grow this channel. For me, it's kind of embarrassing. I have been doing YouTube for a very long time, and I have had many multiple channels that are sort of in the same aspect of self-improvement, but many times when I record a video, I upload it 1 year or 2 years ahead. I find it kind of cringy. This is usually my own mistake, which I do not like that I'm doing, but I just cannot help it to see my own content as cringe. That's kind of my own problem. Many to you, probably to you it's not seeming this way, but to me it seems like that. Anyways, I'm going off topic. The thing that I want to say is I actually want to improve my sub count, improve my views, and I actually want to be influential. I see many of these people, for example, in the influencer world, for example, in the aesthetic bodybuilding, who are just uploading footage of themselves, for example, like flexing. They're not really giving many information, they're just flexing and showing off their own physique. I do not find that as influential. I actually find influence as a thing that you're actually changing people and helping people, and you're spreading some kind of message. For example, you can see many people who are uploading rage bait content, or just content that is kind of like publicity, but it's bad publicity. There's like a saying, all publicity is good publicity, even though it's bad publicity. For example, you can see many people who are in that sort of aspect. The most popular content creators in that field, I would probably say, are maybe Logan Paul or KSI, because many of the things that they did are in the category of bad publicity. But because they're so popular and because kids are watching them, they're kind of doing their own thing. What do I want to say with that? I do not understand the reason why many people believe that bad publicity is good publicity, or that all publicity is good publicity. Because if you want to have the goal of actually influencing people, you need to be providing good knowledge and good content that's actually helpful. If you're just flexing out there for the camera, for the sake of vain purposes, or just showing off your own physique, I do not deem that as influential. Yeah, you can kind of influence some people, or by motivating them, by you're showing off your good physique, so you're motivating other people to strive for the same goal. But if you are not providing any sort of knowledge and content about it, in the terms of like information, you're not really influential in my own worldview. So this is the thing that I want to be doing. I want to grow my channel, I actually want to be influential, I actually want to spread my own words onto this planet so that people can see that, and I actually want to be a positive light for this world. I know that there are many categories of people, how they influence other people. I want to influence people for the good, so that they can actually improve their life for the better, so that they can actually do something about their own life, and I can actually help them so that their life in general just gets better. I can tell you a little bit about history about this channel. I started recording this channel because a certain YouTuber told me to start doing it. Because by me starting to record videos about that specific YouTuber, he will get much more publicity, and I will also get some sort of small part of views and subscribers. So yeah, I'm kind of promoting his own channel by doing my own channel. It's a very weird thing. I'm going to be talking about that also in the future videos, in other topics. But the initial goal and the start of this channel was to just talk about self-improvement in general. How I, from a position of being a loser, went to a position of being a winner, even though I'm nowhere close to being a winner right now. That's the whole point of this channel. It's kind of recording my own journey. Even in the description of this channel, I have just placed navigating life at the point of recording this video. Maybe I will change it in the future. But the whole point of this channel is to just record my own progression and influence other people by doing that. By spreading knowledge, by spreading the things that I learned. I had other channels talking about philosophy, which I also taken down because it didn't get much views and just the overall hassle was way too much to bear. Plus, I couldn't really record consistently because life situations were getting in the way, so that was kind of a bummer. And usually in my own case, when I don't record a video for more than 2 weeks, I kind of get depressed. Because I have set myself this goal that I want to achieve, and by me not pursuing that goal, of course I will get depressed. And there are also many fears when it comes to being a YouTuber. For example, people around you, like your high school people, your high school colleagues or your work colleagues, finding about your own channel and they're like making fun of you because of that. Because you're trying to put something new in the world, you're trying to portray your own self for who you really are, and automatically they will just judge because you're trying to do something out of your life. Well, they're just sitting out there and doing literally nothing. So yeah, by pushing all these fears away, I actually want to do something out of this. I have set myself a goal that I want to be a YouTuber, and I actually want to achieve something out of this. Even though at the start I really wanted to be a YouTuber as a job, because escaping the whole 9 to 5 rat race and all of that by making this your hobby and by making money from this hobby and all of that, it's a very desirable goal. But more as I grew older, I should just treat this YouTube thing as a hobby for now. Because if I focus way too much of gathering money, I'll just become a grifter out here. By like, I don't know, by making a course or something, or by selling you some things. At the start, I do not want to be doing that. I actually want to create a connection. Even in the future, I want to create a connection. I know that there are like fears, for example. You can see that in many YouTubers. The biggest example that I can give you is Hamza Ahmed. He started this self-improvement thing as a form of connecting people and actually helping people. But very fast, he started to strive more into making money. And when that shift happens between actually helping people and making money by making people, you will tend to create many enemies or just people who hate you in general because they see you helping others just for the sake of money, which is a very grifty thing to do. This is a very complicated topic. I have been constantly thinking about it. For example, like, are courses and making money out of people desperation, is that a moral thing to do? I have been constantly going through this dilemma in my own head. I do not know my stance right now at that position. For me right now it just seems like a very grifted thing to do. But pushing all that to the side, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to do something out of this YouTube thing. Another one of my goals is to buy a handpan and to just chill in the forest and to play my handpan until I die. Usually, when I started this whole YouTube thing, I always had the mind and the strive and the real innate desire and goal to be spiritually connected to me, to my own self. Because in this modern society, many people are so disconnected from their true selves. They're either pursuing vain pleasures, vain goals, for example, like getting more money to get more pleasure, or buying expensive cars, or getting with girls to just fuck them, to just skeet and yeet. Even though I wanted these things, I knew deep inside my own heart that these are not the things that I strive for and desire truly in my heart. Yeah, it's a very pleasurable thing to, you can also argue that it's a very good thing that you are striving to have a bigger status in this world and to have an expensive car, to have a very profitable business and all of that pursuits. But all of my goal deep inside my own heart was to be connected spiritually, to ground myself in reality, and to ground myself in the nature. I have spent so much time consuming artificial media. And every time I go back to this topic of consuming artificial media, playing video games, consuming media, online pornography, all these vain aspects and things, drinking, smoking weed, all of these things, all these pursuits are detaching me from my own spiritual sense and my own spiritual thing. Usually when we talk about this spiritual nonsense, you can usually imagine like a girl into astrology and all that. I do not mean spiritual in that sort of way. I mean spiritual in truly connecting to your own body, connecting to your own chakras. I know if you're not really into this sort of field, you may find that very weird, very cringy, because there are many bad apples in that sort of area. What I want to do is just be connected. And this form of connection to nature and to spirituality I always found through making art, creating something, creating music, creating videos, from just creation, by creating, by detaching yourself from that consumerist lifestyle and to just go into pure creation and creating something, putting yourself out there to the world. This is the closest way for my own self to be more spiritually connected. This is the thing that usually detaches us from animals. We as humans, even though we are still animals by nature, by biology, we are so different than the animals because we have this innate desire to create. Even back then, in evolution, when the first humans started popping up, you can sort of see like paintings painted on the wall because we have this some sort of image of creating a legacy, something that we want to be remembered as. And by creating, this is usually the best thing for that. By creating art and detaching ourselves from the consumerist lifestyle, we are much more fulfilled human beings, much more happier human beings. That's the reason why I want to buy a handpan, which are usually pretty fucking expensive. 3,000 euros, which for my own state, I cannot really afford. Yeah, for me to buy a handpan, I need to focus on money, which is also a very important thing because money governs the world, even though it's very detached from spirituality. In my own sense, I want to earn enough money to be financially free, but to also just be time free, to afford these things, to afford to just buy a handpan, chill in the forest for hours, and to just be connected, meditating with a handpan essentially. I have seen many people, many artists with the handpans and with these musical instruments that are creating these wonderful pieces, and I also want to become a part of that. So I want to buy a handpan. This is my goal. I want to buy a handpan to be spiritually connected, to meditate, to learn more about my own inner character, to work on my inner shadow. Yeah! Which leads me to one of my goals, is to just be more grateful. I have been angry, I have been lost, I have been fearful, I have been all these negative traits, depressed, for a very long part of my own life. Because I was afraid. I was afraid of many things. Mainly because I was not grateful for what I have. The reason why I want to be so spiritually connected is because I want to be grateful. And vice versa. I want to be grateful so that I can be more spiritually connected. If I constantly strive for the things that I do not have, I will not really be grateful. I want to be grateful for everything that I have. Even though I was born with inferior genetics to the vast majority of my people, and even though I was born in harsh realities, for example, like how I was bullied in high school and how, not really in high school, but in primary school also, and how family life was very good, and how many life events just beaten me down, I still want to be more grateful. I want to have hope. I want to have hope in this life. I had moments in my life where I felt like I had nothing to live for. And at those moments, I was really grateful. Like, yeah, I'm just sitting here talking to the camera and all of that. But genuinely, once I pay attention to that and once I'm more present, I feel much more grateful than I am before. Even though at some moments nothing really changed. The only thing that I changed was my perspective of the world and my mindset. I want to be more grateful on this planet. I do not want to be angry anymore. I do not want to be sad anymore. And I do not want to have all these lost feelings anymore. I want to be more present. I want to be more grateful. That's the reason why I started meditating, journaling, truly following my own inner character, truly following what I truly am, what I truly want to find out who I really am, to build something meaningful to me. That's the reason why, even at the moments when I'm losing in life, I still want to be grateful. Grateful for the journey, grateful for every breath. Because truly, think about it. Every breath can be your last. You can have been born in inferior countries, in third world countries. You could have been born in India. I know it's a big meme to meme on Indians, especially on Instagram, from what I have been observing. But I'm still grateful for what I have, because I have to be grateful, because this is everything that I have. There are many people. There's like this meme. I will try to find this meme and I will try to put it on the camera. It says like it's like asks some sort of opinion. Like the commenter asks for some sort of opinion. There are two comments underneath. One comment says that it doesn't really matter, but the second comment says that it is, but it does matter, because this is everything that we have. And this is truly the philosophy that I have truly started to follow. This is truly what I have. If I truly start looking at the things that I cannot control, what will my life become of? I need to set myself back to reality and see for the things that I truly have, for what I have worked for, and the things that I strive for. I need to be grateful for the present moment. I have been in so many situations where, for example, I was anxious for the future and I was depressed because of my present. No, I was actually depressed because of my past. Sorry. I was anxious because of the future and I was depressed because of my past. But there's a reason why the present is called the present. It's a gift. It's a gift that you're breathing right now. It's a gift that if you can walk right now. If you can talk, you can talk. Many people are so miserable and so unfortunate on this planet that they cannot have these things. Just the fact that you're born, breathing and walking on this planet, you should be grateful. Which leads me to another one of my goals, which is just to earn more money online. I have made a lot of businesses online. Many of them were unsuccessful. Some of them had some glimmer of success, but the vast majority of them failed. The most successful business that I was doing was creating thumbnails for other creators. And the biggest pleasure that I had in my own life was when I was in high school, when everybody was drinking and ruining their bodies. I was out there sitting and earning money online. I could not describe you the amount of joy that I had when, for example, I was in the classroom, everybody was doing their own thing, and the thing that I was doing was messaging people on Fiverr because I wanted to have more clients and I wanted to earn more money. One of the best months that I had was when in 1 month I earned 1000 USD dollars, which for a high schooler who had like 15, 16 years of age was fucking amazing. Because the vast majority of these kids were still living on the allowance of their own parents, was for the first time I could actually be the breadwinner of the family and I can actually give some money to my own family, to my own people, which is a very pleasurable feeling. Unfortunately, that side hustle of making thumbnails kind of failed because of AI, unfortunately. I still found the reason that yes, in online businesses you can earn money. Because I felt like it was all like a scam, like you cannot really earn money online. It's a very difficult thing to do. But I showed to myself like with work and dedication and time and patience, you could actually do something out of that. And I was actually earning quite a lot of money. Unfortunately, in this vain world where everybody's shallow, money is important. But earning money on your own terms will kind of make you a much more fulfilled person. Because you are putting a price tag on your own value. I know that all of these 9 to 5 things, for example, like when you go to a 9 to 5, your value as a person is decided by the hour. When you're doing your own business, you're kind of deciding your own value. Of course, it's way more difficult than rather to just go to a 9 to 5, because 9 to 5s aren't very difficult. They're just pretty fucking exhausting and pretty annoying and pretty nihilistic. But I still kind of want to pursue that thing of earning money online. I genuinely hope that one day in the future that earning money offline will be more than the earning money from a 9 to 5, so that I can quit my 9 to 5 and to actually pursue that. My last goal for this video is to just reduce addictions overall. Media, consumption, all of that. I want to reduce that to the bare minimum. I have debilitating addictions that have affected me very harshly during my adolescence, which I believe that have left some permanent markers on me today, like smoking weed and consuming online pornography, which I will be making more videos about that in the future, because those are poisons that really need to be fought against, so that we can put people on the better path. Thank you for watching to this point. Many people just click off in the first 2 minutes of the video, so here's a little special segment for you, my dear viewer. So, addictions. What have I been addicted to in my life? Online pornography for the majority of my life, video games, smoking weed, junk food, and just overall just being lazy and procrastinating all day. And online media consumption, addicted to the screen and all of that. So pretty much I have been addicted to every single part of consumerism content. Which is a very bad thing to be addicted to. If I were to have to rank all of these addictions, online pornography is just possibly the worst one out of them all. Because it truly changes your own sense of reality, of what a healthy relationship is, and you just started seeing people, and women especially, for their bodies. You're basically just objectifying women. Now, even though in today's video I'm not going to be telling you about all of my online pornography usage history, because it goes a very long way, I still want to tell you how fucking dangerous it is. Because, as I already said, it changes your own worldview on everything, and you just become an outright gooner. The only thing that you started to prioritize is just gooning all day, every day, at every single point of time. I remember the times when I was truly started to get addicted to that. I was gooning 4, 5, 6 times a day. Yeah, kind of a messed up thing for me telling you that, because I'm lifting my digital footprint telling you about all of that things. But on this channel, I want to promote honesty. I want to be honest. Yeah. I truly find it miserable and sad for my own case, and for the cases of many of you other viewers who watch to this point, if you have related to this, that your first sexual experience was through a screen. I kinda envy the people who were kinda finding about all these things on their own, without the help of all this pornographic media. Because that's very sad to me. Imagine like 100 and 200 years ago, your first sexual experience was with your own imagination or with an actual person. Right now, I bet that the vast majority of young men who the average time, the average age, the average age range where the average guy sees pornography is at 11 years old, I truly believe that that left permanent markers on some of us. I truly want you to imagine how sad and how detrimenting this is, that for the average 11-year-old, the first sexual experience was through pornography. Not only that that's bad from the point of their own psychological development, but it's also bad for the point of social media and influence. Because on social media, that's the only thing that you can see. Women, thirst bombing them. How do you call that in English? Thirst traps. They're essentially just thirst traps. And you can see videos of just women twirling their hips around, showing you just bare enough cleavage so that they are not banned for exposure, but just good enough to pass the system. I am truly sad knowing that my first sexual experience was through pornography. That's the reason how I got addicted to it. Usually there's this whole thing of like nofap and not touching your worm. I will also record videos about nofap, don't worry about it. But the problem is it's not the problem in the sense of nofap. It's the problem of pornography and how big of an impact it does, how much exposure it has. I believe that if I have never stepped into that addiction of online pornography, my life would have been much better right now. I could have made much more progress, I could have been much more happier, I could have been much more fulfilled. But knowing the circumstances that I was fallen into, because don't get it twisted, watching online pornography at the age of 11, it's essentially rape. You were raped if you have watched that, because you did not know what you were doing. Watching all that content, you do not know what you were doing. You did not consent to that. You were just watching it out of curiosity. That's not consent. You were not prepared for what brain damaging aspects it could give you. That's the reason why I hate pornography so much, and it should be eradicated. Because it leads people to develop sexual fantasies that are out of this world. It makes gooners. It just makes gooners purely. My brain stopped working. I have been talking for too much. Usually when I talk for too much, I tend to go off topic a lot of time. which it gets better over time the more videos I record. But yeah, I have pushed my limits. I have pushed my limits. But hey, these are my goals. And actually, thank you for watching. If you have watched to this point of the video, I'm truly grateful for if you have pushed through here, because the vast majority of people just leave. But also at the same time, you're truly showing that you care, that you're interested in these goals as well. You may not know me, but now you know me through my own goals, and now you know more about my own character. So therefore, you'll kind of enjoy my overall content way more, which to me is a much more fulfilling experience. I know that I have just said that in a very selfish way, that I only strive for my own personal benefit, but generally, when I record these videos, I want to portray something helpful to the world. I want to show people that there is a reason to live for, there is a reason to be better, and there is a reason to not give up. So, thank you for watching for the last time, and see you in the next episodes. Peace.